Hello, you beautiful people. Today we're back with some daily waiver wire streaming options for April 28th. So I didn't want to pick guys that were too highly rostered, and they're also in order of who I'd pick up first because I didn't think just giving them to you in a random order would be exactly that helpful. So yeah, as always, I don't like to stream guys who are questionable for the night because you can't really risk the acquisition and the chance that they might not play, because if they're just a streamer, then you might as well just get someone that's like for sure going to play tonight. So as always, feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you want to see more daily content like this. And with that being said, let's just get into it. Alright, so if we look back on yesterday's games, I went 6 for 7 on terms of who I thought would have good games today. The only player on the list that didn't really have such a good game was Edmund Sumner, and he sort of suffered a little injury there. But yeah, Blake played well, Dorian Finney-Smith, Brissett, Birch, Flynn, and Jerome all had really good games, so let's hope we can keep that streak going again today. The first player on our list is going to be Danilo Galinari. He has been on a bit of a minutes restriction since he's returning from his foot injury, but today against Philadelphia, the Hawks are missing a lot of guys. Trae Young's out, Rondo's out, Herder's looking like he's going to be out, Hunter's out, Reddish is out, and Goodwin's looking like he also might be out. So there's opening up a lot of opportunities for ball handling on the Hawks today, and I think Gallinari's minutes are probably going to step up just out of sheer necessity. Like, the Hawks really don't have that much creation left outside of Bogdanovich, Lou Will, and Gallinari. So I think for today, Gallinari's probably going to be the number 1 or the number 2 option on the floor. And I'm looking at him to get a lot of shots. I think his minutes will probably go up to the 30 range, just because the Hawks are competing for a playoff spot, and if they're going to want to have a chance against Philadelphia, they're going to need Gallinari to play those minutes. So yeah, I'd expect a big night from Gallinari tonight. I think just because Trae Young's out, usually when that happens, Gallinari sort of decides to take over the game for the Hawks. So I'm definitely expecting some big numbers out of Gallinari tonight, and I think he's a great streamer option if you're in like 8 to 10 team leagues, because other than that, he's probably already rostered. But yeah, going on to the second player on my list today, it's going to be someone that I just recently mentioned in my waiver wire streaming options from 2 days ago, so I won't go into too much detail, but it's going to be Cole Anthony. And so far, he's just maintained the production that we were seeing from him ever since Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, and Fournier all got moved. Like, he's been really solid as a ball handler, his assists have gone up, his points have gone up, he's been more efficient from the field, and he did it against the Lakers yesterday. Like, he had 15, 4, and 7, and I'm expecting that to continue. I mean, they're playing Cleveland tonight, which isn't especially known for their defense this season, so I think he's definitely capable of going off for a big game, and I'd highly recommend streaming Cole Anthony tonight. And then if we move on, next on our list is going to be Royce O'Neill. And the main reason I think Royce O'Neill is an attractive streamer for today, no homo, is because I think because of the injuries to Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley, there's a lot more shot opportunities to go around in Utah now, and while I think Clarkson's definitely going to take like 30 shots tonight and Bojan's probably going to get his shots up too, I think definitely the third role on this team for shots taken is going to fall to Royce O'Neill. And he's also a really good defender, so if you're in a categories league, I think Royce O'Neal's a great add if you need some steals for tonight. But in terms of points leads, I'm expecting a big night from Royce. I think he'll step up in the absences of the team's 2 stars, other than Rudy Gobert, of course, but his value's more defensively and rebounding. But yeah, I think Royce is going to go off for a big night tonight. I think he's a good streaming option. And if it weren't for the injuries to Mike Conley, obviously I'd consider him a droppable player. But moving on to someone else is Marcus Morris Sr., and again, he's benefiting from injuries. I talked about him as well, so I won't go into too much detail, but Kawhi is not due to be back for at least a few more games, so I think Marcus Morris remains a good option until he does. I think he's the second option on the team behind Paul George right now, and the Clippers have been on a good stretch, and I think Marcus Morris' value has been criminally underrated during it. But yeah, I'm expecting him to continue the stretch that he's been on and have a good scoring night tonight. And next up, Rui Hachimura. He's someone that's just returning from an injury. It seems like every single person in this video is suffering from an injury or returning from one, and that's because the NBA is fucked this year, so blame Adam Silver, blame whoever you want. Again, I've mentioned this in multiple other videos. I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, Rui Hachimura, like, solidified third option on Washington behind Beal and Westbrook, and his main problems this season have just been because of injuries. He hasn't really been able to stay on the court, but in terms of streaming options, you're not really worried about the longevity of him. So I think for tonight he's a solid option. They are going against the Lakers, but we all know the Lakers roster is pretty depleted right now because of injuries. But yeah, he got 32 minutes last night. I'm expecting him to get something similar. And yeah, he's capable of filling it up. He's not going to provide too much in any particular category, but overall, all around, I think he's capable of giving you a solid fantasy night. Our sixth player is someone who's on the gold mine of the Orlando Magic for streaming options. It's going to be Chuma Okeke. And you never know with the Magic who's going to play or who's not going to play on any given night. But Chuma Okeke was on a really good stretch, and then he sort of cooled off. And it looks like he's kind of picked his production back up again. He's a decent contributor all around, similarly to Rui Hachimura, honestly, in terms of his production. And I'm expecting him to have, like, probably a solid rebounding game. He might go off for a few points. Nothing spectacular, but the Magic don't really have that many options. And when you have an explosive athlete like Okeke, he's definitely capable of going off for a big night tonight. I mean, yeah, he had 36 fantasy points in his last game, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals against the Lakers. So like I said, he is capable of contributing in multiple categories, which makes him a solid streaming option in case his shot doesn't happen to be falling tonight. And then 7th on our list is going to be one of my favorite players just because he's on the Celtics, Peyton Pritchard. And due to the injury that Kemba suffered, Celtics have a lot more shot attempts to go around. Tatum is also questionable for today. And if Tatum ends up sitting out, then I think Peyton Pritchard could jump up to like the 2nd or 3rd spot in terms of who I'd like to stream today. Because last game, when it was just him and Jaylen Brown, he had a really good night. They were the only two playing well. And I'd expect something similar like that to happen today. Like I said, the only real thing I can see holding Pritchard back would be the opportunities. But if there's injuries to the Celtics' main core stars, then I think Pritchard is a must-stream player for today. So definitely check the updates on Tatum, but I'm pretty sure Kemba is going to be out, so that should make Pritchard remain as a solid streaming option for today anyway. Then the last player on our list, you guys know I like to leave the last players for the deeper leagues. This is like the 14-team, 16-team leagues. It's going to be Cody Martin, and he got 31 minutes in their last game. I wouldn't expect anything huge out of Cody Martin as he's not that gifted offensively, but the Hornets are also just getting decimated by injuries, so it's opened up a lot of opportunity for Cody. I don't really know too much about him. He's a really solid defender. He's not like a shooter, but he gets some spot-up 3 opportunities just off the playmaking that the Hornets have. And he's had a few good rebounding games as of late, so I definitely think he could be an interesting option for tonight. He's only rostered in about 2% of leagues, so if you're in like a 16-team league and you need a streamer for tonight, I'd probably go ahead and pick up Cody Martin. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, drop your guys' waiver wire suggestions in the comments below for people that you think they should stream tonight. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. And as always, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.